Committee meeting, date is Tuesday, February 7th, 2023. Very short agenda tonight. We're going to start with policy and regulation 5200, which is attendance, which we did have on the agenda last month, but we overlooked that we needed to identify on here the number of excused absences for college visits. Did the district have any recommendation to put on that?
Is that in the regulation?
Yes.
Yes. We had a conversation, again, Dr. Lehman.
I mean,
Just a regulation.
things are pretty consistent between 3 and 5 days. I would probably recommend 5 days. And then, if someone's in a situation where they have additional needs, obviously support something with documentation and, evidence of a tour or whatever. But 5 days, I think, is well within reason.
Anyone in the committee have any dissent on that?
Page 8 of 19.
I think that's fine.
Oh,
Pretty much everything is between 3 and 5 days. Excuse.
got it. All right, and I don't know if we have to put that statement in there or no.
I think I'm in the regulation page. Oh, you want
So
to?
not, because I think there's something at the end anyway that says,
Yeah, here it is. You're right.
the principal has the,
An absence for a reason not listed above, but deemed excused by the principal upon written request by the student's parents stating the reason for the absence, requesting permission for the absence to be excused.
wow,
Alright.
that's.
Sorry, page 9 of 19.
Speed me there.
Good.
Well,
Yes,
everybody can read it as that's out there. So page 9 of 19 in the regulation.
yes.
And I agree with you 100% because then it gives the opportunity, it's 5 automatic with no conversation like Dr. Lehman has stated. I think it makes a lot of sense.
No, I do. I think that statement definitely should be in there because I know, many people who've had that situation and, life happens and
Yep.
sometimes you need the support of.
And I noticed they get it eaten up quickly, and it's different today applying for college than say when we were doing it today with this Common App and everything. They applied to a much larger landscape of
Yes.
schools at CNS.
Correct.
And so-
Because of the Common App.
and they wind up with a much larger landscape of choices to have to consider. And once they're accepted, and now they start focusing on where they might want to enroll,
Yeah.
now it's not just like the initial visiting to see where do I want to apply, because those days count now.
Where
as
do I
an
wanna make
admitted
that
student,
commitment to?
Now they go back and revisit
And
everything.
they have
Yes.
admitted student day, admittance students day, student day.
Some of them are Saturdays.
Some of them
a
are
lot
Sunday, Monday,
not.
Tuesday, some are
Yeah,
Thursday
yeah.
and Friday, it's
And
true.
some are requiring travel and stuff, so.
You're right.
We certainly want to make sure the policy caters to giving the students the best opportunity to make the best choice for their
And it's
future.
per year, right?
Oh, yes,
Yeah, junior
Yes.
and senior, yeah.
junior and senior.
I think that's fine.
Okay,
Okay.
so that'll clean that up. So now, I don't know if that one was pulled for first read. It was pulled, so it'll
Yes.
go on for
First
first read
read.
this time with the 5, and it'll lag
Yep.
1 month behind the others. All right, and then the second item is the 0152 policy for board officers. So on this one, Strauss Esme alert from last month gave some options to put in the policy. Our policy is compliant. Our policy allows for what's considered a roll call vote. The new alert gives an option, which is always an option, but just not in our policy, to consider a paper vote. Also, our policy allows for using a majority of the board members present. They allow an option for using the majority of the board as opposed to those present. So our policy as it stands is in compliance. I did poll the board in its entirety to get a sense for what the board was thinking about retaining the current policy or considering the options. There was an appetite to discuss paper balloting. There was not much of an appetite to discuss majority of the present versus majority of the whole. I think as a committee, my recommendation here is we table this and maybe look at it in June, since it looks like it would be a point of discussion that would go kind of long and far with 10 people having 10 different opinions on it. And I know our February March, April meetings are kind of packed. So I was gonna revisit it in June when things kind of quiet down and we go into the summer, since we're not going to have any, we shouldn't anyway, any election happening until the reorg meeting in January 24. So if we start discussing it in June, we would have this put to bed well in advance of that, so the committee doesn't have
I have
any
no
issues
objection
on
to
that.
I think that's a wise thing to do, because there will be a lot of discussion at the table, I think.
Yeah.
I thought we had talked about like reaching out to council to see if we could change the wording for those written paper.
So we reached out to council and the feedback that we have is that our policy as it exists is lawful. And it would be the way it came down from the Strauss Esme document, which is not doing the way we do it with roll call. You wouldn't simulate that with paper. The paper would be any of the names, 1, 2, 3, 4, however many names got nominated, you would put the name down. We wouldn't do a round of paper for each nominee, yes or
You can
no.
only pick one person.
You would pick one person.
If
and
you
then-
chose the written paper ballot option.
Right.
Yeah, that's not, I don't think that's a good way to do it.
Yeah, so pros and cons.
Yeah.
I kind of landed with the,
Okay,
I don't know.
So tell me why you don't think that would be a good idea.
because let's say there was 4 people that got nominated, then you could only vote for one person. So there would be 5 people that wouldn't, like, if you just, how can you get a majority that way?
It's majority
Like,
of
get
those
more rounds of votes.
seated. Yeah, so they
So
would
it's like a
start
round
dropping
robin,
out.
so they would start, yeah, so basically that's what, so.
Some people would go,
so
oh, I
4
withdraw
people
my
would-
name.
Yeah,
And
I would,
that's-
and then the next round, you don't have that name to choose from, so if you voted for that person, then you need to choose from one of the other 3, and the same thing would happen if you don't get to a majority with that vote, then you would do it the other way. So it's definitely done that way, it's done that way, I know, in a lot of different places, and it just, it's a good way to get the feel of the group, honestly, to see who, especially if you have that many people who are interested in the job, you know.
No, I didn't know that you could withdraw your name
Yes,
and all.
it's the only way to get
That's-
to a
yeah,
majority,
The whole process.
Yeah.
for sure.
It would definitely take a little bit longer, but I mean, I'm in favor of the
I
writing
prefer
it
the
down
written ballot as well.
I
just
prefer the
didn't
written
know
ballot
You could.
for reasons,
withdraw.
you know, that it,
And the other
you
thing that
don't
was
have to look across the
Yeah.
table and see who's voting.
The other thing that was a point of confusion starting to poll board members was it is not a quote unquote anonymous or secret ballot. You're
Right.
putting your name, you know, I, Karen Bierman, vote for Karen Bierman for, you know, it's not, and then that's read by the board secretary and
Right.
tallied out loud. So we're not,
Right.
you know, you're not.
It's not a
secretly,
private, it's
so
not a
to speak.
secret vote, which we can't do because
Right.
we're beholden to the public, but it is a way to write your vote down without any influence from someone
Yeah, for
else.
someone
Yes,
looking
and
at
that
your
to me
vote the
is
way
one of the
you're-
pros.
That's a pro, that's personally a pro to it. I know, I mean, we could have this meeting over in 2 minutes,
Right.
but
No, I'm saying,
So I
so,
just
so
figured
what was
we'd talk about
interesting about this was, I felt like, as a committee, we weren't gonna probably land at a place knowing where we stood. We weren't gonna land at a place as a committee to
Right.
bubble up to the full board anyway, and then knowing to bubble up to
Right.
the full board, I already know what the other 6 people think, so I
Right.
knew that one was gonna go off track too, so. I thought I'd
okay,
save it for June.
I think it's fine to go to June. I just wanted to
The
ask,
only thing I didn't like
you made the
about it
statement, you know.
was
Can I
it
just
was-
start the discussion?
it was changing the way we vote. So like for now, and in the past, we've watched through the years, they're separate nominations, so you could vote for both people. And you're basically saying, I can work with you, I can work with you
Mhm.
as board president, right? That takes away your opportunity, because now you just have to pick one person in that vote, and, you know, that was the only thing that I caught my eye, was that we're not gonna be doing, you know, the ballot for this nomination and then a ballot for that nomination.
I think it was 2 separate votes, no, you're
No,
putting both
it was
names
both-
on the
yeah.
same thing?
And council was willing to come and give some
Yeah.
information. I let him know that at this juncture, you know, you talking about the full board and everything, so if we move it, that's why I'm texting, I just texted him now to let him know that. There's no point, like you said, there's only, you know.
Because I went and asked them that, and then I was like,
Well,
and I said to
our
my
job is to be able to be a consensus to bubble it up.
Right.
And I know we're not getting there. So, because I know her and I don't know her. So,
So maybe it should be for a June committee meeting and then, see where it goes from there.
and he was,
Could we, like, for the May confidential meeting, could we have, present something to us in
so
May?
he said he would be willing to take part in the committee meeting.
yeah, that's good, just to get the understanding of what the options are and the pros and cons. of
Can
the-
actually rewrite
So we,
our,
maybe
because
we
I
can
said to
have
him,
him
well,
at
we
May.
rewrite it our way.
Right.
And he goes, why don't I come to your meeting?
Right,
So I'll let him know, actually, so the,
so maybe the May curriculum committee meeting? Or the curriculum.
Oh,
excuse me,
policy.
sorry,
You wanna take
that's
that
my- No, that's my committee, the
May policy.
May
yeah.
policy meeting,
That's fine.
which is the same night as the May curriculum meeting, just in case you were wondering.
okay, I'll let him know that, so that's good. Information wise, to get a little straight and more serious. Okay.
Yeah, and
I'll let him know.
I'm so on the fence with it, with the pros and cons of each of the choices, whether it's the majority of present or majority of the whole board as the number that, the votes that you need, and whether it's paper ballot or the roll call ballot. I'm so on the fence with it, with the pros and cons, that I would lean toward accepting attorney advice on it personally.
All right. I understand.
That's it?
Okay. And if nobody has anything else to bring to the table, that completes our policy meeting.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Really nice.